Right now at 6, Joplin firefighters battle a house fire on North Maple that started from a burning trailer and spread to the home with help from evening winds.
And we've got showers and thunderstorms pushing across the area. Nothing strong or severe now, but watching additional storms to our southwest. We'll have a look at all of that coming up.
Plus, an investigation begins into the death of a woman at the Webb City Jail.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Thursday, January the 8th. Of course, we've talked about Thursday for about a week and a half now. The thunderstorm chances were here. The severe threat is that 1 out of 5, so it's very low. But it is there, and we're going to monitor that. And right now, if you're getting showers, you're getting thunderstorms this morning, the lightning's the biggest concern with our storms early this morning. It's additional activity that's off to our southwest that's racing up here at 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
That's going to be our concern as we go a little later into the morning. We're going to start with our live look from downtown Pittsburgh. You can see the camera is covered in raindrops because we've got a little thunderstorm that's been pushing through the city. In fact, looking real quick, we'll take a look at the radar. I don't see much lightning with this activity at this point. Our camera 7th in range line. We've had some rain in the Joplin metro area. You can see that the parking lot, the roadways there are a bit on the wet side. Same from the KDOT camera 69 and 400 south of Pittsburgh, and the MoDOT camera 20th in range line. You can see the shiny reflections there on the roadway, and that is from that rain. Here's the Skywatch storm tracker. So you see that there's a lot of these dark gray lightning strikes out here. That is because they are several minutes old, and there are no white ones with this activity, which means there's no new ones. And so that's some good news. But if you are heading out, you still need to be aware of the potential for some lightning with some of these storms early this morning. We'll talk about what's coming up after this in a moment. First, we're going to start into northeastern Oklahoma. We've got some light showers, Miami down toward Veneta, and Nowata, Bartlesville beginning to clear out. Grove, you got some showers off to your north and west. We got heavier rain that is now to the west of Coffeyville, pushing into Montgomery County, that back toward Caney. No lightning with this activity, but again, wouldn't be surprised if we had some. Back toward Oswego, Columbus, we're getting back into some heavier rain now into eastern Labette County and most of Cherokee County. Some heavier rain now. Girard, Pittsburgh, Erie, back toward Liberal, pushing into the Missouri side of things. We've got some heavier rain also around Iola, Moran, near Humboldt, stretching back to the east. Fort Scott, you're kind of in a bit of a lull, a few sprinkles out there. And then out north of Nevada, up toward Shell City, those little white strikes, that's what I was talking about. Those white ones are new ones that have just occurred or have recently occurred. And so that's why, again, right now this morning, our concern is with the lightning, more so than anything else. What we are watching is this activity that's off to our south and west. It doesn't look too impressive right now, but it is organized, it is continuing to get organized, and it is racing off to the northeast at about 60 miles an hour. Further south, it's still attached to this whole batch. Now on the radar, our radar beam only reaches so far out, but you can see that we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and so that's kind of that sign that some of these could intensify. So here's what we're looking at in terms of our severe risk for today. The southeastern half of our region, it's low, but there is an isolated tornado risk. So an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. It is not likely, but it is a possibility. As we look at the hail risk, the southwestern portion of our area could see some large hail with the stronger storms, and then nearly all of us in for that low-end damaging wind risk, and that's going to be our main concern with any of the stronger storms. Again, all those risks are low, but of course they're not zero. So that's why we want to monitor the storms as we go through the morning. 63 in Joplin right now, 55 over in Pittsburgh. The cold front's still well off to our northwest, so here we are quite mild. Upper 50s, low mid 60s with Grove right now, the warm spot sitting at 65. So here's the future track at 9 a.m. This is the activity we were just looking at back to our southwest, back toward Oklahoma City. It will move in. It should continue to build and intensify. Now, not every storm we see today will be strong or severe, but they'll all have that capability as we go through the morning. And our greatest concern really for stronger storms is going to be from about, let's say, 7:30, 7 a.m. through about 2 p.m. So we go to noon, and you can see these storms continue at a pretty good clip. They're now along and east of I-49 by the lunch hour, but these storms still could be strong. And then by 2, that batch is out as the cold front itself approaches. Some isolated showers, maybe an additional rumble of thunder will be possible, but our severe threat will have diminished diminished as the front itself approaches and begins to push through the area. Kids heading out, again, just make sure you're ready for the thunderstorm activity, more so the lightning than anything else. We'll be at low 60s through the first portion of our day with those thunderstorms, upper 60s as the kids head home. Now, I do want to add that little caveat with these temperatures. Depending on where you are, what kind of clearing you get between this morning's activity and the cold front. I think most of us are heading for highs into the upper 60s. Some of you may be a little cooler, especially say like Yates Center, Chanute, up in our northwestern counties. Some of you may be a little warmer. Grove, Neosho, Anderson. It just will depend on what kind of clearing you get. All of us, though, we got to watch out on that as well. Non-thunderstorm winds out of the south gusting to 40 miles an hour. Again, this early morning activity, not a concern, but we are watching the additional storms. Any watches, warnings pop up, we will certainly let you know. We'll have a look at these storms again and what happens after these storms here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Firefighters battled a house fire in northwest Joplin last night. Crews responded to the 100 block of North Maple around 7 p.m. after reports of a structure fire. The Joplin Fire Department declared a defensive fire at the single-story home that was heavily involved with flames. Crews contained the majority of active flames within minutes. The fire appeared to start from a trailer that burned in the driveway and spread to the home's exterior with help from evening winds. No one was inside the residence when the fire started. The Joplin Fire Marshal is investigating the cause. The Missouri State Highway Patrol launches an independent investigation after a woman dies in the Webb City Jail. Tuesday, Webb City police were preparing to transfer a woman from the Webb City Jail to the Jasper County Jail when she was found unresponsive in her cell. Despite immediate CPR and emergency efforts, she was pronounced dead. The woman, identified as 41-year-old Terry Gaston of Joplin, had been arrested Monday for driving while intoxicated as a persistent offender and child endangerment. Authorities, including the Missouri State Highway Patrol and Jasper County Coroner, are conducting an independent investigation. An autopsy was done yesterday. The murder trial of an Independence, Missouri man is in its third day of testimony at the Cherokee County Courthouse. Kyle Butts is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. It stems from gunfire at a home in Baxter Springs, Kansas in November 2022. Authorities found 3 victims. 2 of them, Jeremy Murphy of Anderson and Greg Gwynn of Pineville, died at the scene. The 3rd victim, Seth Gwynn, was critically injured. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A 37-year-old woman is shot and killed by an ICE officer in Minneapolis, as eyewitnesses and federal officials give conflicting accounts. Plus, Nick Reiner gets a new public defender after his defense attorney withdraws from the double murder case that could bring the death penalty. And we're tracking storms today with temperatures dropping over the weekend. Chris has a look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, a Los Angeles judge delays Nick Reiner's arraignment in the stabbing deaths of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner. Defense attorney Alan Jackson withdrew. He's replaced by public defender Kimberly Green. Nick appeared briefly in court wearing a brown jumpsuit, standing behind glass with deputies nearby. The 32-year-old is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and has been held without bail since last month. The arraignment is now set for February 23rd. Prosecutors have yet to decide on seeking the death penalty. Federal officials say an ICE agent killed a woman in Minneapolis yesterday. Details are still coming out, but the incident quickly led to protests in the area. Nicole Skinga is there with the latest.
A 37-year-old woman was shot and killed in her car by an ICE officer Wednesday morning in Minneapolis, according to federal officials and eyewitnesses. ICE agents were in the neighborhood for an enforcement operation, and residents were honking horns and blowing whistles.
There was a red SUV parked right in front of our house.
Aiden and Grace Perzana say they saw the entire scene from their home and that several officers surrounded the SUV.
A third person in also camouflage fatigues came and started pulling on the driver's side door handle, at which point the vehicle backed up a few feet and started driving forward. The agent who was on the driver's side originally, who was not pulling on the handle but had been there prior to that, shot 2 or 3 times through the driver's side window. The car drove a 30, 40 feet and crashed into another car in the telephone pole.
It was an act of domestic terrorism.
Speaking in Texas, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said agents were acting in self-defense after their vehicle was stuck in the snow.
They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle.
The shooting quickly sparked protests and outrage. Just this week, the Trump administration launched its biggest crackdown on illegal immigration, sending about 2,000 agents into the Twin Cities. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust.
He demanded ICE leave the city and urged residents to remain calm. Nicole Skenga, CBS News, Minneapolis.
The FBI is investigating the shooting. It happened about a mile from where George Floyd was killed by police in 2020. Well, still to come, Stranger Things becomes one of Netflix's most watched English language series ever, with more than 105 million total views and counting. Plus, we're tracking storms today with temperatures dropping over the weekend. Chris has a look at your Thursday forecast. Now a look at news from the entertainment world. Here's Douglas Hyde with the Hollywood Minute.
This is not over. Not by a long shot.
The end of Stranger Things has helped make it one of Netflix's most watched English language series ever. The hit show's 5th season drew more than 31 million views the week of its finale and has received more than 105 million total views and counting. Stranger Things now sits at number 9 on the all-time list.
I am the outlaw. Robin Hood.
A new trailer is giving us our first look at Hugh Jackman in The Death of Robin Hood. The Australian actor offers a gritty, violent take on the classic English thief. The new film shows Robin Hood coming to terms with his violent past and living long enough to see himself become a legend. The Death of Robin Hood hits screens this year.
Star Search, the world's greatest talent competition.
The talent judges for Netflix's Star Search revival have been revealed. Jelly Roll, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Chrissy Teigen are joining the reboot. The 5-week competition kicks off January 20th and will feature new episodes Tuesdays and Wednesdays. In Hollywood, I'm Douglas Hyde.
Certainly some exciting projects to look forward to. And now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we are continuing to track showers and thunderstorms across the area. You can see the heavier rain that's moving into the Pittsburgh area right now. We're going to break down details on this and when some of the stronger storms could get here when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 6:18. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:20 now on this Thursday morning. We do have some showers, even a few thunderstorms in our immediate area this morning with the potential for some strong to low-grade severe storms in the next, let's say, hour or so. We're going to start with what's happening right now. We still have a few showers now back into Craig County, parts of Ottawa County, back toward Miami. We've got some light showers right along the 60 corridor and points north, so Neosho, Monette, Mount Vernon, Joplin, Carthage. We'll head back to the west very quickly. We do have some thunderstorm activity, as you can see out here southwest of Independence, stretching back north of Coffeyville toward Mountain Valley, Oswego, some heavier rain. We've got some heavier rain into the Pittsburgh, Columbus, Weir area, so if you're traveling on 69, got to be aware of that, stretching up again toward Girard. We've got heavier showers around Liberal and to the west of Jasper and Lamar, eventually reaching there. Heavier rain beginning to move into Nevada. Fort Scott got some heavy rain right now and stretching back toward Moran just to the east of Iola and up around Freedom. So again, nothing significant with this activity at this point. We've had some lightning that is still dangerous on its own. It's this that is getting more and more organized. So counting the lightning strikes in this zone alone, you can see the lightning strike counter up there, 236 lightning strikes. But I want you to pay especially close attention to this activity right here between Kingfisher and southwest of Ponca City. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move this. This is going back, as you can see, about 5:26 this morning. And within the last hour, you can see that activity has intensified. It's considerably more organized. Same with the activity back toward Kingfisher now and into Oklahoma City. This is the activity that's going to provide the opportunity for some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms in the next hour or two. All of that is racing northeast, anywhere from 55, I've seen reports up to 65 miles an hour. That's how quick this activity is moving, and it stretches well off to the south. You can see even down far southern end down there, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning. So we've got this activity. It tried to organize, didn't really do so much, but this activity is getting organized, and that's why we have that level 1 out of 5 risk for the region for all hazards. Now, all hazards are possible, but keep in mind, we're on the low end of the spectrum. It doesn't mean it won't happen. This also doesn't mean it will happen, but it is a possibility. So we have an isolated tornado risk in the southeastern portions of our region that we'll keep an eye on. We're also looking at the isolated large hail risk in the southwestern portion of our region, and then all of us into that level 1 out of 5 risk for the potential for some damaging wind gusts out there. And then again, non-thunderstorm winds today gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. So that's what's setting the stage. So that's why our severe risk is low. We've got enough wind. We've got the energy in place to help these storms, but it's not enough for a significant severe weather event. That's why the risks are there, but they're all low at this point. So by 9, what you're seeing here, Chanute, Parsons, Miami, Yates Center, just outside Fredonia, back toward Coffeyville, Bartlesville. This is the activity that's down by Oklahoma City right now. Some of this may get here a little earlier. This here is what's around Ponca City, getting ready to enter Osage County. This is the Oklahoma City stuff. As it continues through the area, and you can see it is still in a hurry when it gets here, this is the activity that could be strong to low-grade severe. By noon, it's along and east of the I-49 corridor. By 2 o'clock, it's done. Now, as the front approaches, we could get some additional isolated showers, perhaps a thunderstorm, but our severe threat is done once that first batch rolls on through here. Winds will calm down behind the front, back out of the northwest at about, let's say 5 to 10 miles an hour. So through the morning, just be prepared. Showers, thunderstorms, some could be strong to severe. We'll be keeping an eye on them, hovering through the low 60s. Our highs today may vary a bit depending on how much clearing you get between our storms this morning and the front this evening. So we're looking on average the upper 60s, some of you a little cooler, some a little warmer. Back into the upper 30s, low 40s tonight, upper 40s, low 50s tomorrow. Could get a wintry mix, nothing major from that, but maybe a couple of slick spots for those who see that wintry mix going from Friday night into Saturday. We warm up a bit Monday and Tuesday, then we really start to feel like winter as we roll into the second half of next week. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. This year's flu outbreak is reaching new heights. The CDC says doctors' visits for the flu have hit their highest levels in almost 3 decades, and there have been at least 11 million cases so far. 45 states report high or very high flu activity. Skylar Henry speaks with the family still feeling the impact weeks after getting sick.
This flu, it took everybody out.
For the Hawes family, Christmas in Atlanta was spent in bed and on the couch, flu spreading through the house.
How'd the kids do?
The kids, they were hit the worst. My oldest, my 12-year-old, he was looking like he was turning the corner. Day 8, we ended up at Children's because his breathing was restricted. And so he had to go get a breathing treatment, steroids.
The CDC says since October 1st, there have been at least 120,000 hospitalizations from the flu and at least 5,000 deaths, including at least 9 children.
It has been hitting hard with many people getting sick.
Atlanta pediatrician Dr. Jennifer Shue says parents should monitor their child's breathing when determining whether to take them to the emergency room.
You know, they're not as alert as usual. They might be a little bit dehydrated. They might be weaker, or they might have a hard time breathing. So lips could turn blue. They could be panting, heaving. You can look at the muscles in the neck or in between the ribs. Sometimes they'll tug in and out.
Dr. Shue says getting the flu shot remains the best protection from severe illness.
There's going to be people out there that watch this and they say, we don't ever get the flu shot. We don't need the flu shot. What would y'all say?
Get the flu shot.
Today.
Like, we're taking our kids, even though they've had the flu, we just want to make sure that they're completely covered.
The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends all children 6 months and older get the flu vaccine. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Atlanta.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, some families in Southwest Missouri face tough challenges when it comes to paying for prescription drugs.
And we are tracking showers and thunderstorms. Nothing severe with this activity, but what's off to our south and west is what we're watching closely. A look at your forecast coming up.
And later, we have highlights of last night's game of the Joplin girls basketball team when they took on Central.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Thursday, January the 8th. Now, again, for the last week and a half, we've been talking about Thursday. We knew storms were coming. We also knew it wasn't going to be a severe weather outbreak by any means, but we could get some stronger storms. Now, what we've got rolling through right now is not a big concern. There's lightning. That's our biggest concern now. Yes. But in the next hour or so, that's when the stronger storms are expected to roll in, and we're going to break it all down for you. First, take a tour around the region. Starting in downtown Pittsburgh, we're still getting some moderate rainfall there, and you can see it on our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Head over to the West Coast camera, 7th and Range Line. Roads in Joplin are wet. We've had some light showers, and it's difficult to see occasionally, but I do believe we still have some of those showers still falling in the Joplin area. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh, and if you look close enough on the roads, you can definitely see the rain still falling into some of those puddles out there. And MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, wet roadways as well as we get this commute started. So here's the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and you can see we've got some pretty heavy rain starting to build again, especially along really in between the 69 and 49 corridors, right along there. So we're going to start first, northeastern Oklahoma, where we still have these light showers stretching back toward Welch, Miami, Fairland, into Seneca. We head north into Cherokee County, some moderate showers out here. We have that dark gray lightning strike up toward the top center of your screen. That's because it's several minutes old. Back toward Parsons, Mound Valley, Independence, some heavier rain there as well. Traveling back up to the north, Chanute, you're dry for the time being. Thayer, on the other hand, some heavy rain and stretching back into Erie. Girard, as we mentioned, Pittsburgh, along the 69 corridor, you can see that heavier rain stretching back up toward Fort Scott as well. Then we head to the east. Nevada, we're getting those showers and storms out there, and as we head a little further to the south, Lamar, Liberal, some moderate rain. Jasper, it's right on your back door. We got the lighter showers really throughout Jasper County and along and north of the 60 corridor back through southwest Missouri. So this activity continuing to push on through the area, and if you watch the loop here, you'll see where we had some thunderstorms try to get organized, then they kind of fizzled out and became more of this broad area of moderate to heavy rain. What we are watching is this activity that's still off to our south and west as it continues to intensify, and it is racing northeast at about anywhere from 60 to 70 miles an hour, and that's going to be the activity that could potentially bring us some stronger showers and thunderstorms as we head through the morning. So that's why we have this level 1 out of 5 risk. You're probably getting through this stuff this morning going, I don't get it. This really isn't that much. That's because this stuff right now is not the main show. Now, all of these risks are low, but they're not zero. So that's why we are watching them closely, because in this case, in the southeastern half of our area, an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out at this point. Then the same southwestern portion of our area, isolated large hail cannot be ruled out, and damaging wind gusts cannot be ruled out either, but this is a broader risk across the entire area. A quick look at our temperatures. You can see the MoDOT camera 32nd in Range Line, quite damp. We've got 63 in Joplin, 53 in Pittsburgh. The cold front still well off to our northwest. Most of us out here pretty mild, especially for this time of year. Upper 50s, low mid 60s. Grove still the warm spot, sitting at 65. By 9 a.m., this is the activity that we're watching right now that's just off to our southwest. So really, I think in the next, it's 6:33. I think in the next hour, that activity will start pushing into our far southwestern counties, and that's when we're going to start watching it very closely. Not every storm we see today will be severe or strong, but every storm will have that at least potential to try and intensify. So we watch this batch, and you see how quickly it's still moving. By noon, it's along and east of I-49, but still could be strong to severe. By 2 o'clock, that batch is out of here, and then as the cold front itself approaches, we could get some isolated shower or thunderstorm development with the front. No severe threat with that activity, but some additional rain, maybe a rumble of thunder here or there will be possible as the front itself approaches. So kids heading out the door, make sure they are prepared. And remember, right now at least, lightning is our biggest concern because it can be deadly regardless of storm intensity. Hanging out in the low 60s, thunderstorms through the lunch hour, a few showers as they head home, upper 60s. And a caveat with those temperatures, again, depending on where you are, between our morning storms and the cold front. Some of you may be a little warmer than this, some of you may be a little cooler than this for highs, but we're looking to average the upper 60s and non-thunderstorm winds out of the south gusting upwards of 40s. We get that to deal with as well. We're going to talk more about these storms, keep an eye on them for you, and we'll talk about what happens after the storms in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. For a lot of people in Southwest Missouri, paying for prescription drugs without insurance can make for some difficult decisions. Chris Bryan talked to a pharmacist about making sure those in need can afford their medications.
They're just great. They're able to help so many people in the community that need meds at a reasonable price, because as we know, medications are crazy expensive.
Neighbors Pharmacy is the only charitable pharmacy in Missouri and has seen steady growth since it opened, with patient growth up 24% and prescription growth around 48% in 2024.
Patients are not just like here to get their medication, but are people with major concerns about their health, about their life, about how to handle all these things. It's going to be here, neighbors.
The pharmacy mainly serves Stone and Taney counties, where nearly 50% of the homes fall below the cost of living threshold.
It's difficult because people oftentimes can't afford the medications that they come in for, and I can't tell you how many times I had to say, you know, this is the copay on your medicine, and I'm sorry, but it's $200, $300, and they turn away disheartened because they can't afford it.
Funded through grants and mostly charitable donations, the pharmacy uses a $10 a month fee. And with that, the uninsured in the state can get their medications at no cost outside of the monthly subscription.
Talking about people who are living paycheck to paycheck, people who don't have insurance because they can't afford it on the marketplace, and we know that thousands of people have decided not to go with insurance this year because the prices have gone so high.
Generic medications, patient assistance for name brands, diabetes testing supplies, pharmacist counseling, and medication management are all included. In addition, some over-the-counter items are part of the membership, and certain labs are available for a little extra money.
Like, I've seen firsthand here how vitally important it is to have pharmacists in a rural setting or any setting, because often pharmacists can be like the only healthcare provider that patients have access to.
Over the past year, the pharmacy has dispensed more than 20,000 prescriptions, worth about $2.5 million in costs. To qualify, you have to be uninsured and fall within the household income requirements. For example, a single person making less than $46,950 can easily qualify as a member, and a family of four making $96,450 are eligible.
What I would say is, if you're not able to afford your medicine, give us a call. If we're not able to help you here, we'll find a way to help you.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The president says he'll control Venezuelan oil sales at market price to benefit both Venezuelan people and the United States. Plus, how to shield older relatives from costly scams. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, in a social media post, President Trump announced that Venezuela will turn over between 30 to 50 million barrels of, quote, quality sanctioned oil to the U.S. The president says the oil will be sold at market price and that he'll control the money to ensure the benefit of the people of Venezuela and the U.S. Stock prices for American petroleum companies jumped Monday after the U.S. captured deposed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and then turned downward yesterday. When fraudsters come calling, does your family have an action plan? CBS News business analyst Jill Schleichinger offers a short list for keeping financial information in order and scammers at bay.
Over the past 5 years, losses from imposter scams targeting Americans 60 and older have skyrocketed. Instead of relying solely on expensive monitoring services, the single most effective defense against financial fraud is open, ongoing conversation within families, helping spot red flags before real damage is done. To get started, there are 3 critical questions every family should be able to answer. 1. Do you know all your family members' account numbers and how to access them? 2. Do you understand what property and investments your loved ones own and who the beneficiaries are? And 3, do you know where all household income is deposited? The next step is monitoring. You don't have to be a joint account owner. You just need to be listed as a trusted contact. This will allow the financial firm to alert you if they notice suspicious activity. As an added precaution, you can also ask to receive copies of statements. Finally, if you're concerned about identity theft, a credit freeze is your strongest tool. It restricts access to a credit file, making it harder for identity thieves to open new accounts in your loved one's name. You'll need to enact the freeze at all 3 major credit bureaus, online or by phone. Just remember, with a freeze in place, no new credit can be opened. So if your loved one is applying for a loan, you'll need to temporarily lift the freeze, then put it in place again once the process is complete. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Today in sports, the Joplin Lady Eagles ride a 3-game winning streak into last night's home matchup, looking to push their record above 500 for the first time this season. The Eagles have found their rhythm over the past couple of weeks, outscoring opponents and building confidence with each victory. Last night, they welcomed the Springfield Central Bulldogs, a team searching for just their second win of the season at 1-7. In the first quarter, Alyssa Owens put Joplin on the board and helped set the tone early. Soleil Parker took over on both ends, turning steals into easy layups and sparking Eagles offense. Joplin rolled to a 49-18 win, improving their record to 6-5 on the season.
And we have got showers and storms pushing through the area now. Some strong to potentially severe storms rolling through a little later this morning. In fact, just got some new information on those. We're going to go over those details with you, and birthdays and anniversaries right after this. All right, let's get to those birthdays and anniversaries for our Thursday, starting in Columbus with Jackson Hutchings, celebrating birthday number 5 with love from Nene and Papa.
And Bennett Tyndall is celebrating birthday number 8. Happy birthday, Bennett.
And in Carl Junction, Kylan Allen celebrating birthday number 12. Happy birthday.
And in Fort Scott, Jace Marbury is also celebrating birthday number 12. It says, love Mom, Dad, Weston, and Ty. Happy birthday, Jace.
And in Seneca, Chief Miller celebrating birthday number 12 says, happy birthday. We love you, Dad, Maddie, Emma, Nanny, and all of your family.
And in Chanute, Tanner Bolt is celebrating birthday number 16. It says, love from all of us.
I'm sure, he probably wouldn't mind slowing down the aging process. I certainly wouldn't mind. Our list continues into Girard with Aubrey Humble celebrating birthday number 17. Happy birthday.
And in Joplin, Missouri, Lewis is celebrating birthday number 31. Happy birthday.
In the Moran, Alyssa Stroud celebrating birthday number 35. Happy birthday, Alyssa.
And in Columbus, Abby Nelson is celebrating birthday number 37. Happy birthday, Abby. It says happy birthday from all your family and church family.
And in Wamego, Kansas, we've got Jennifer DeGonia celebrating birthday number 37. Very happy birthday to you.
And in Fort Scott, Jennifer is celebrating birthday number 41. Happy birthday, Jennifer.
And we've got Kathy Talent in Carl Junction celebrating birthday number 60. Says we love you from Nana, Willa, and Kinsey.
And in Pittsburgh, Judy Meister is celebrating birthday number 73. Happy birthday, Judy.
And back to Columbus, Marcella Carter celebrating birthday number 88. Happy birthday.
And we're celebrating a very special birthday here at KOAM. Our sales manager, Rye Addis, is celebrating today. A very happy birthday to you, Rye. He does an incredible job, and he's behind a lot of the advertisements you'll see here on KOAM, and is pivotal and so important to making sure we can do what we do.
Yes, and he's helped dreams come true for me with different things, so we certainly appreciate you, Rye. And he's quite the musician as well.
Yes.
He's not just there with a guitar, he can sing and he can play, which is more than I can do. Our list concludes with Lena Fortner in Chetopa. Says happy birthday from all of your family. And of course, a great list of birthdays and anniversaries. Those of you wishing to celebrate with us, Samantha has some very simple information you should jot down.
Yes, you should pay attention to this email you can see on your screen. It's birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. That's where you can send those pictures, birthdays, anniversaries, but also make sure you pay attention to that deadline you can see on your screen so that way we can make sure we get it in plenty of time to be able to celebrate with you on your special day.
Absolutely. And we are continuing to track showers and thunderstorms across the area. So this morning, our early morning activity has not been strong, has not been severe. In fact, the actual lightning with the activity in our region, if I just kind of try and slice it down to just us, it's showing 6 strikes, and those are actually coming from up here outside of our area. Try and get it a little closer, really not much, which is good, but we do have some heavier rain out there stretching between Parsons and Chanute back north of Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Mound City just south of Butler. So if you're traveling 49 north, got some heavier rain out there stretching back towards Stockton, Osceola. It's just off to your north and west. And down south, a few light showers holding on through Cherokee County, northern Ottawa, really along and north of US 60. This is what we're watching. It's this complex here. That's where the 267 lightning strikes are coming from. Now, none of this activity is severe at this point, but we do have some what they call significant weather advisories. It means that these storms are just below severe limits. The closest one to our area is for Osage and Pawnee counties into north central Oklahoma. So if we back this up even just, an hour, you can see how quickly this activity has organized through Ponca City, Enid, Stillwater. We've got additional activity that, again, just backing this up, you can see how it has become organized, rolling into Oklahoma City. All of this is lifting northeast at approximately 60 to 65 miles an hour. So that's why if we back this out and we do just a quick storm track from Wichita back down into Oklahoma City, we push this off northeast, this is not set to the right speed. I apologize. That was set to 25 miles an hour. If they were moving that slowly, then that would be quite accurate. Let's adjust that and get that speed corrected for you. Now we'll move this off to the northeast. Times still looking pretty close to what we've been expecting out there through the morning hours and into the very early afternoon. Again, these storms not strong to severe at this point. However, there has been a change to our severe weather outlook, which I'm going to show you on the very next graphic. That's why we want to watch this closely. Again, within the next, I'd say 45 minutes or so, it should begin entering our actual area here, our coverage area, and we could start to see some of these storms intensify. The changes are as follows. 1, we still have the isolated tornado risk for the southeastern portion of our area. You can see it's been backed up a little northwest, and we do have that level 2 risk it's barely clipping Washington County. The hail risk did not really change. Southwestern portion of our region, still that 1 out of 5. It's the wind risk, and it cuts right through Joplin, Pittsburgh, Miami, Grove, Veneta, back toward Newada, and we are still watching that. We now have that level 2 risk, so it's a greater risk for some damaging wind gusts. That's what our expectation is, and that's what we've been talking about. Is that's the primary concern, is damaging wind, but the other risks cannot be ruled out. By 9, this is that activity we're watching right now. It will continue to race off to the north and east, so by noon, it's along and to the east of the I-49 corridor, but through 2 o'clock, any of these storms could still be strong to low-grade severe. Once we get past that and the front itself begins to approach, additional isolated showers, perhaps a thunderstorm or two, if I can get this out, will be possible, but our severe threat is done by that time. Just a few showers out there, and then we'll start to calm down a bit behind this front. We're looking at hovering through the low 60s with these thunderstorms increasing in coverage as we head through the morning hours. Got another look at your forecast here in just a moment, and when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., a blast from the past. Something that was a must-have toy of the 90s making a return. That story and more at 7 a.m. Showers and thunderstorms continuing to push through the area. Nothing severe with this activity this morning, but we are keeping an eye on this activity off to our south and west, and you can see that newly issued severe thunderstorm warning for the Oklahoma City area. Those storms are lifting off to the north and east at nearly 70 miles an hour. So in the next couple of hours, we're going to get in on this activity, and we do have all hazards are possible with this activity. As it lifts on through, we have an isolated tornado risk, isolated hail risk, and our greatest concern still with the potential for damaging wind gusts across the area, especially in this yellow highlighted area. So Joplin, Pittsburgh, Columbus, back toward just south of Parsons, Oswego, Miami, Veneta, Grove, Newada, Neosho, Anderson, Pineville. So that's why we want to watch. This risk cannot be ruled out either, and you can see that just barely clipping southern Washington County for that risk. It's a bit higher for the tornado threat. Again, these risks are lower, but they're not zero. And again, our greatest concern as we go through the next few hours is going to be for damaging winds. By 9, you can see showers, storms in our western counties continuing to race off to the north and east. By noon, they're along and east of I-49. Still could be strong to severe. As the front approaches, a few isolated showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder, but our severe threat is done once this first batch clears on out of here. Most of us today, highs upper 60s. And as we head through the rest of the week, we're going to drop back upper 30s, low 40s tonight. Could get a brief wintry mix late tomorrow, early Saturday. No accumulations expected, but some slick spots possible. Much cooler into the weekend and maybe a dip into winter temperatures by the end of next week.
Definitely something to keep an
Indeed.
eye on. Thanks, Chris. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making hot chocolate muffins in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up, Nancy Cordes sits down with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to discuss the major changes to the U.S. dietary guidelines this coming days after changes were made to childhood vaccine recommendations.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we're learning more about some of America's most forgotten homes and neighborhoods.
And of course, we'll be tracking these storms. Any severe weather warnings pop up, we will certainly pop in and let you know. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.